Action!
Welcome back to my channel.
I am convinced of is that you can really only be a very good account executive if you've done pre-sales before.
It can happen. I mean, mistakes always happen every day.
But still, answer my question.
Start laughing and say to your prospect, hey, this is really not my day.
I'm sorry, but it's true. Action!
Welcome back to my channel.
Welcome back to my channel.
No, my channel.
No, it's my channel. To our podcast.
Our podcast.
To the OB2B podcast. To dialing out the OB2B podcast.
Exactly.
Yeah. Our guest today is the one and only Anna Maria Novak. The oldest employee in this company.
That's not true.
No,
I'm
that's
not
not
the
true.
oldest one.
The employee with the longest duration in this company.
That's somewhat true, yeah, but
Yeah.
I'm not the oldest.
No, you're not.
I'm not.
No, yeah, you're not. Another colleague is, definitely. 10 years in sales. That's what we're going to talk about today, because it's your 10th year that you're doing sales. Maybe you've actually done sales before.
Yes, I did, but in a different type.
Yeah, you did, like retail.
Yes, exactly.
Well, that's
These
something
were
else.
my
but
beginnings.
yeah. Today we're going to talk about sales in OB2B and sales as a phenomenon which we know the way we sell it and the way we do it daily. A very important thing to emphasize is that you've done it all. You've gone through all the processes from being a pre-sales BDR to being a account executive, to being somebody who does after sales, by being a project manager or business development strategist, which you are today. I think you have a lot to tell, but if you're honest, do you even see any sharp, distinguished, like moments in your career where you would say, okay, there was a transformation. This is a point where I know something has changed, or is everything just a big flow for you?
It is actually a big flow for me, because everything what I did in OB2B and everything that I was connected to was actually like a mixture of different things that are repetitive day after day. So some things have changed, some things I don't do anymore. I added some things that I'm doing right now. So, but basically everything runs around like more or less the same. So I wouldn't say that at any point I experienced any kind of migration, change, or huge, movements.
It's very fluid. It's been very fluid, because you've been here from the beginnings of the company or OB2B as such. And all the changes happened very naturally and in a slow pace, if you look back.
Yes, they did. And as we wanted to change, as we wanted to, for example, expand our business or add some new colleagues to the team, everything happened slowly. So we didn't have at any point huge amount of, projects, new people and so on that we cannot handle. So that's good.
Mm-hmm. Okay. But still, let's do like a little bit of a time traveling today in this episode to give the listeners a little bit of a retrospective and how it is now, and maybe what you see happening in the future as well. But if you can think back to your pre-sales days.
Of course.
Yeah, you can.
It was fun.
Okay. What would you say is the single most important thing that a pre-sales employee should focus on when qualifying a lead?
Okay. First of all, I think that it's really important to have some basic information that you can start from, and then build your deal or lead, whatever you want to call it, step by step. The most important thing I would say is lead hygiene. This is something that makes your work like a flow. You cannot have any kind of obstacles. You know at every point when your follow-up is, if you're writing everything inside the small transcriptions of your conversations, the names that you connected with, and so on. This can help you a lot to have a really good flow in your business that you are running, which is in pre-sales really, really important. So I would say this is a good foundation of building something really good and move forward from that point.
And on the other hand, what's the biggest failure or the biggest mistake a BDR does in the pre-sales process, or you have done? Maybe you can think back. It was a different time, but still.
It can happen. I mean, mistakes always happen every day. It doesn't mean some mistakes happened 10 years ago that they're not happening anymore at this point. For example, it's quite common to make mistakes while, I don't know, sending out emails to the prospects, just not typing in the right information. So this is something that is a little bit, I don't know, I don't like it really, but it can
you cannot
happen.
change it.
Yeah, you cannot change it.
Once you send an email, it's really hard to unsend it.
Exactly. And you have to take care of your follow-up. So if you don't follow up on time, maybe you are going to lose your warm lead. He's not going to be any warmer.
Yeah.
He's going to be colder and colder. So it's really important to take care of your activities. So the most mistakes actually happen because you are trying to rush things. Then mistakes always happen. You are rushing. You are trying to, I don't know, make as many calls as you can, send out as many emails as you can. And then in that kind of mindset, you will make mistakes.
And this is a very important lecture for everybody who's listening, because a lot of people are afraid of doing the phone call. And actually,
yes, that's true.
At least mistakes happen during the phone call.
Yeah.
You always can find a spontaneous solution or find a way to lead the prospect into giving you an answer, or even not. You can just say, okay, when I do my next call, I'm going to do things differently.
Exactly.
The most common mistakes actually happen in the process of documenting or sending emails, or just not documenting and not putting the lead hygiene first after doing a call.
Yeah. You can always turn the river to flow onto your side when you're in a call. For example, if you forget something, if you just have a huge blockage in your mind, then you can just stop, start laughing, and say to your prospect, hey, this is really not my day. I just had a huge blockage, and then just laugh it off.
Yeah.
And it's also a good thing, because if the prospect is not, I don't know, really then he's going to laugh with you, and it's an opportunity to build trust and to build rapport, because you're experiencing things that are only human. It's not like you have to be perfect on every call, but it's easier to navigate these things. At least if you make such a huge mistake, you can always just drop the phone and then call again and say, hey, sorry, my connection was really bad, so I'm calling you again. So you have some things where you can navigate. But when you send out an email with wrong information inside, wrong name, wrong personalization, then you have a problem, because most of the times you cannot withdraw that email. Or, I don't know, you can change in your CRM the data that you are typing in, but you have to be aware of what you are doing.
Yeah. Okay. You've experienced pre-sales. You've experienced sales in a form of being an account executive. And actually, the one thing I am convinced of is that you can really only be a very good account executive if you've done pre-sales before.
Yeah.
Especially in that part where lead hygiene is concerned. If we look into our partners and people we work with, they are really bad at that point.
Yes.
Because they might be good sellers. They might be somebody who has a really good pitch.
Yeah, or talent. There are many people that are talented.
But if you do not have a way to document it, if you do not have a way to track it and to show it to somebody else, and it's usually a bigger team, it's not just a one-man show.
Of course, yeah. Mm.
You can do so much things the wrong way and not close just because you haven't done sales in a proper way.
Yeah, because you're always going to impact other people. For example, in our teams, you're always working with somebody. You're not alone at any point. You have your own job. I don't know, your colleague has another job, but everything is connected. And in the end, it's your partner or a client that is also connected to your pre-sales part that needs to continue where you stopped. So if you arrange the meeting for him, he has to have certain information so he can continue with the sales process for his company, for his product, for his pitch, or everything else. But it's funny that sometimes how pre-sales is connected to sales, they are interfering. And if you are making a mistake, it's like a butterfly effect. It can really touch things you don't even see in the future. So it's really important to just take care of your things that will impact in the future somebody else.
Yeah. Both segments, pre-sales, sales, and after sales, what we're going to talk about as well, do consist of a very important thing for sales, which is objection handling.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. Would you say...
This is our job, objection handling.
Would you say it's easier to do objection handling in the cold calls or in the sales calls?
That's a hard question, but I think that's more or less the same. I mean, objection handling is objection handling. And the most important thing, which I find it's a connection between pre-sales and sales, is your preparation. So I think in sales, in general, knowledge is everything. If you're prepared well, if you know your product, if you know your service, if you know your benefits, and so on, you cannot have the situation that will surprise you. No objection will come because you will always have the answer for that. If you're well prepared, then any objection is just an objection and you have to push through it. So it depends on the person that you're talking to. It depends on what stage you are in. But I think that's one common thing is if you have the knowledge, then you can handle any kind of objection.
Yeah, but still,
if you
answer
want to
my question.
Maybe it's a little bit difficult when you are trying to do the sales because maybe the topic of money is included, or the budget, if you will. So maybe this is something that if your partner doesn't have the budget, then this is an objection that you cannot push through. If you want to, you can give, I don't know, a discount or something like that. But it's something you have to navigate and show which benefits would be for him or return of investment that he is going to see in the future and so on. So I think that maybe objection handling lasts a little bit longer in the sales part rather than in pre-sales, because it's quite common in pre-sales to hear same things, and what you're doing, you're trying to arrange a meeting, so it's not that bad. You're just, okay, no problem. Let me hear the feedback. If you can navigate that feedback, then perfect. Then you will continue the conversation. If not, just move on. But it's a little bit difficult in sales because you don't have that amount of leads that you are running through your fingers. And
so you'd say sales objections and sales pitches are more difficult to handle than cold calling?
Yeah. And maybe just because of the amount of leads that you're handling, you have meetings, which means the conversation lasts longer, more questions will appear throughout this conversation and so on. And in pre-sales, if you're doing cold calling, you have conversations that last between, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 minutes if you are on the phone with a decision maker, and usually you're prepared for any kind of objection that will come up because they're quite usual. You already know what people are going to ask, what kind of pain points they are going to have, and how you can solve that. At least if somebody says the pain point, you can always say, hey, this is really good question. This is really good point that you brought up. I will connect you with my colleagues that are specialists in this area. So let's arrange a meeting and then turn this deal into your own benefits, because your goal is to arrange a meeting in pre-sales. So
okay, I fully disagree. But next year,
cool.
I'm going to have my 10th birthday and
Then
10th
I'm going to
anniversary
ask you this
in OB2B, and then you can do this interview with me. You're going to get a completely different question, a different answer.
Perfect.
Good. Another thing which is really important to take care of in the sales pitches is the way your pitch and your approach is focused on the lead that you've gotten from somebody from pre-sales. So what do you think is the most important soft skill you have to have, or you brought with you in your sales, in your account executive time? What was something where you think this was a really important point that I've learned and that has brought me new clients?
Oh, this is an easy one. It's definitely
cleavage.
Well,
no, that was a joke. It was a really sexist joke. I'm sorry, but it's true.
So the true answer is
funny because it's true.
It's the freedom that you are gaining throughout your cold calling, because when you start, you're quite scared. You don't know what will happen. You're scared of every call, who is going to be on the other side, how they're going to react, and so on. And then throughout the time, you just gain some kind of a freedom. You just release yourself from all of these fears. Mm-hmm. And then this is something that happens in sales, where you can embrace this freedom, but also improvise and try different things. And this is something that made a huge difference for me personally. It can be something else for somebody else, but for me, it's this fact of the freedom and improvisation that I had. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And of course, not making fun of somebody, but having fun throughout these things, and just integrating humor into everything can help a lot, especially with building the relationship and trust. So, but definitely improvisation and freedom.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I agree with this one.
Maybe you do.
How much time do we have left? Okay, I have. We're going to go into the today's. We've skipped we've been. You've started in 2015, right? Yeah, it's going to be 10 years. So yep. We were now in 2000. No, we were in 2017.
Yes,
let's say, and now we're skipping, and then we were in 2020. Okay, 22. And when did you start doing the after sales part?
Ooh,
I'd say it's 22 maybe, or 21 so. Even.
But I had like several projects before, because it was easier to navigate. Yeah. When I started with the after sales, or if you will, project handling, it was mostly at the beginning with some clients that came from other countries rather than the DACH region. For example, Poland was actually one of my first projects that I ran, or I don't know, Finland and so on. So throughout the time, the amount of projects just rise. So it was quite natural. As we spoke at the beginning of this podcast episode, it was just a flow, because I was always somewhere dipping into projects, not only working on projects as a BDR, but also running some things that are also my job while handling the project. So it was quite natural. So it's a little bit hard to determine in which point throughout the years I
Yeah.
took over after sales.
Okay, but I think it's been definitely 2 years that you've been doing nothing else than after sales.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Okay, good. From all those 3 segments of sales, which do you find being the most difficult one?
The most difficult one was a pre-sales part.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
When I was a BDR, it's the thing where you don't just do your job, like you just pick up the phone, you just send out the emails, but you have to really think what you're doing. And it takes a lot of energy, to be honest. So kudos to all of our BDRs. It takes a lot of energy to be yourself, to adapt to any kind of situation that you are into, because you are switching between situations within every call. So, but it's also highly rewarding because you can see your results very, very, very quickly. So I would say definitely pre-sales part is the most difficult, but actually the most rewarding one.
I again do fully disagree, but I like this.
What is it?
I
this
really
today?
like this. Yeah, I don't know. I have a question which I've written down for myself, and I can't wait to read it out loud. It's a after sales question, which is: can you share an example of turning a challenging post-sales situation into a satisfying long-term client?
You mean when I got the client where I needed to handle something to turn him into a long-term one?
Yes.
Oh, this is something that happens all the time. Okay, yeah. Sometimes, which is quite natural, I would say, you are going to get a partner, a new client that is scared of your cooperation. He never done that before. He has his own wishes, he has his own expectations and so on, which is completely natural and fine. So it's the most rewarding thing in my job currently, where with our work, with everything that we are doing, with our transparency, we can see them being happy with the cooperation. We're bringing them results which are also making them happy. To be honest, this is something that is really important for them. And then deciding on not to only continue our cooperation, but to maybe expand that. This is something that has happened in this year with one of my partners, and that made me really, really happy, because I thought, hey, they're quite, I don't know, unsure. So maybe they're going to last with us, I don't know, maybe a month or 2. In the end, they actually expanded the project. They took another BDR. So our team expanded, and we were working for more than 6 months, which is from the first position with them until today, a huge change.
Yeah. I remember a even worse situation you had, where you had a client who was really dissatisfied after 2 months, and they were already sending or signals, at least, or letting you know that they're not really happy with the corporation, and that they would want to quit. And then you came up with a new list, a new idea, a new approach, and we kept them for several months.
Yeah, that is also a thing that can happen.
I don't know if you know who I'm talking about.
Not at this point, but this is something.
It was finance. It was a Swiss company.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, I understand now. Yeah, sometimes it can happen that the strategy that we decided together at the beginning of the project is just not the right one. So sometimes it takes time to realize, hey, this is not working. And of course, your client is going to be not satisfied because it doesn't work. But the really important thing is to take a stand. I don't mean like take a stand and punch them, but take a stand and say, listen to me. Let's try something that I have a hunch for or I have experience with. Let's try with another list. Let's try with another industry. And then we will see if that works. I have a feeling it's going to work, but let's test it. If you are open to that solution. So if that happens, this is always something where you have to take a stand and just change the strategy and say, hey, listen to me, this is something I'm really good at. Let's do that. There's also one example where we started one other project. We started to contact like the end customers, but the results were really bad, really, really bad. So we proposed to contact companies where we can introduce ourselves as partners rather than just like, I don't know,
acquire new clients.
And that was also a turning point because that was something that brought so many new partnerships for our client, new projects within that partnerships. And after a while, we worked together more than 3 years in some different times of the year because we were working for 2 or 3 months, then stopped, and then again. And because of that approach, they even managed to hire another employee. So that means they really grew at that point. So this is something that made not only me, but also everybody that was connected to this partnership really happy because it showed us really, really efficiently how changing the approach can benefit everyone. So it happens all the time.
Okay. Good. Last question. Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
I hopefully are going to be alive.
Oh, yeah. Me too.
No, I don't know. I'm really not the person that can look that far into the future, but rather have some smaller goals than walk towards them. But I definitely see us in OB2B to be a little bit bigger, maybe with employees, maybe to change some perspectives, because I can see whenever something new happens, we are going to adapt really, really soon, as we talked about a million times about AI that is quite new right now. And then let's see, maybe we are going to be some huge enterprise company that is going to buy a lot of different other companies and we are going to be rich.
Good. Well, remember these questions that I asked you. You're going to interview me for the same topic next year, this time maybe.
Deal.
And that was it. Thank you for your perspective and retrospective into 10 years of sales, which I can say you've done very successfully.
Thank you.
And I'm really happy to have been a part of your journey so far.
I'm really happy too.
Good. Yeah, that's it. We're done with our 33rd episode.
More or less.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It's our 33rd episode of Dialing Out the OB2B podcast. Feel free to watch the whole episode every time. If you haven't, it's
a shame.
It's a shame, and there are very cozy weekends ahead of you. So grab a blanket, your iPad, your laptop, or whatever, and binge our 32 plus this episode. 34th? 33rd. Yeah. No, you didn't quite listen to what I was saying. Thank you. Subscribe, comment.
Add us on LinkedIn.
Add us on LinkedIn. Find us on LinkedIn and add us on LinkedIn.
Exactly.
That's it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Rocking this.
Bye, everybody.